Hello, and welcome to another episode of Financial Aid Fridays. Thank you so much for joining us on this hot and humid Friday evening in Orono, Maine. My name is Jessica Hickernell.
And my name is Simon Furland. Before we begin series in these episodes.
Yeah, so Financial Aid Fridays is a series of webinars that our office is putting on through the months of June and July, covering all manners of financial aid, as well as some information that we think is going to be really important for incoming students for this upcoming fall semester. These episodes, again, are hosted every Friday, and we actually have the dates posted to our website.
Now, we want this to be an interactive experience for all of you, especially with this evening. We want to hear from you. We do have some panel members which will be joining us for a thorough question and answer session. So if you have any questions that you would like answered live, feel free to post them in the comments in the YouTube live stream or on Facebook, or you can email them into us at the email listed below. And we have staff members standing by to take in those questions, which we will be answering here live with this particular episode. Taking a look, we'll also be trying to answer some of the questions from the previous episode if there were any that we missed. So we'll be gathering those as well.
Yeah, and so for those of you who joined us last week, thank you and welcome back. Buckle up for another exciting episode. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, that episode, as well as the episode before that, are available to view on our website. In the meantime, just a quick recap. Last week, Simon and I went through, we took an in-depth look at reading your financial aid award letter, and then went through the process of estimating expenses. And then we took a lot of questions from our viewers over a whole bunch of topics.
That's right. So certainly take a look at that episode if you haven't already. Now, Jess, what do we have for the folks here today?
Oh, Simon, like I said, folks better buckle up. We have got our very first Money Matters panel of our web series. So in this Money Matters panel, we have representatives from some of the important offices on campus that students, not only incoming students, but also continuing students, will be interacting with, or it's quite possible that you've already interacted with them pretty frequently during your career here at UMaine. So I think we are ready to bring our panel members in. Uploaded on our screen here.
All right, welcome panel members. Now we're going to have each one of you introduce yourselves, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and as well as the office which you are representing and some of the services that office provides. And additionally, any important information that you think would be useful to some of the folks viewing here today. So let's go ahead and start things off with Connie.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Jessica and Simon. I really want to give a big shout out to our hosts because they are doing this on a weekly basis and they're doing an amazing job. My name is Connie Smith. I am the Director of Student Financial Aid and Student Employment for both the University of Maine and the University of Maine at Machias. I've been in financial aid for the last 25 years. Actually, I think it's 26 now. So I've, talked with lots of families and students and worked through this whole process. So, I think this is one of the most important things we can do is to provide you with as much information as possible and give you the opportunity to ask us questions. My office, we see students on an advising situation one-on-one. Obviously, we're not doing that right now, but we're doing Zoom meetings, we're doing phone calls, web chat. We're trying to have as many avenues as possible for families to contact us or students to contact us to talk through the process. We're in a unique situation, but we still understand that, you need answers. So we're here to do that for you. And hopefully tonight, with the panel that we have, we'll be able to answer all of your questions when it comes to Money Matters. So thank you, and I'm going to pass it over to Bill Elsmore.
Hi, my name is Bill Elsmore. I'm the Bursar. Our office is the one that sends you your bill, collects your money, and handles all things about your account. Now, our office is actually closed right now. We're working remotely. But if you have any questions whatsoever, our email address is umbursar@maine.edu. We're happy to answer questions by email. Probably the biggest thing that I want to make sure that that everybody remembers is that when we send you a bill, it's probably not final. Classes get dropped, classes get added. Many things happen during the course of every semester that that requires that you really keep tabs on your account. Do that, but that you check it frequently, and you'll make out okay. So, and I guess the other big thing is we're gonna make a change this year for this year only, given the circumstances. Normally, our fall due date is August 15th. This year, it's going to be September 15th. So it gives you an extra month to take care of things and get your account taken care of.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bill. Next up, Derek.
Everybody, my name is Derek Francis. I'm an admissions counselor here at the University of Maine. I'm also an alum, graduated in 2011, again in 2014, and I've worked for the university pretty much ever since. So if you have admissions related questions, or if you're not sure who to ask, if you have a certain question, you can definitely reach out to us, umainadmissions@maine.edu. We also have somebody staffing a phone, even though we're working remotely, 207-581-1561, and we can do our best to help you out.
Excellent. Thank you, Derek. And last but not least, Amy.
They save the best for last. My name is Amy McDougall, and I am Job Located Development Coordinator for the Office of Student Employment. I, too, have been at the university quite a while within financial aid and student employment for the past 24 years. So I'm definitely a good resource for folks. Even if I don't know the answer, I will help you gain that answer. So anything to do with federal work study, non-federal work study, jobs on campus, the Office of Student Employment is more than willing and happy to assist you with that. So we can be reached during this time as just like financial aid is, but people can definitely seek that out, and we will get your answers that you need.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, panel members, for those great introductions and for that information about each of your offices. We want to make sure that our viewers have plenty of time to ask questions today of all of our panel members. So we are going to go ahead and move right into our question and answer part of our show. Just a reminder, if you are watching us, you can ask your general questions down below in Facebook, on YouTube, or if you can't post questions at either of those places, you can also email us at that email listed below. So I think, Simon, we're ready to jump right in. So Simon, you want to start us off with our first question?
Absolutely. So let's see. We have, will my financial aid be included on the bill that I receive in July? Bill, you want to go ahead and tackle that one?
Sure. Yeah. The answer is yes, but the thing you need to know about the bill is that financial aid could appear in two places. There is a section in the bottom half of the bill where financial aid that's been approved and accepted and is ready to disperse to your account will be on the bottom section of your bill. Once it gets dispersed, it actually ends up appearing on your account in the top section of the bill. But the bill actually is calculated to be all of your total charges less your anticipated financial aid. It's not dispersed to your account until some point later, about a week before classes start, but it's there, and you should make sure that what you've got on your award letter is there for the things that need to post to your account, and contact. In this case, I guess it would be financial aid if there's something missing from your bill, but yes, it should be there.
Great. Thanks for that answer, Bill. So our next question here is, if I haven't submitted my FAFSA yet, is it too late to apply for financial aid? Connie, I think we're going to pass that along to you to tackle.
Okay. No, it is not too late to apply. You can actually complete a FAFSA all the way up until June 30th of next year. I would not recommend you do that. I recommend if you're looking for financial aid, you do it as soon as possible. We do have a priority filing deadline of March 1. So you may, at this point, you may not be eligible for all of the types of funds that you would have been eligible for had you done it before March 1, but it is never too late to apply for financial aid. You can still do it.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Connie. Next question here, can someone else make payments to my account? Bill?
Yeah, the answer there is also yes. So we have a billing system that allows a student to authorize another user, be it a parent or anybody you choose to authorize, to see your financial information. And when you do that authorization, the person that you authorize will get an email. They sign on using their email account, and the things that they can do, they can make payments, they can sign up for a payment plan on your behalf, and they can see your account activity. They get statements. So we highly recommend that if you've got anybody at all that's got an interest in that end of your account, that you do that authorization as an authorized user. There's instructions on our website. There's a section at the bottom of our webpage. It's umaine.edu/Bursar, and there's a section that says, how do I? And one of the things is authorize a user to see my account. And it's a full set of instructions there.
Great. And I do just want to piggyback off of that real quick, that this authorized user piece for the bill is different than the actual student consent to release information form, which is a separate authorization allowing our offices to communicate with anybody other than the student asking questions about the student's account. So even if somebody were to complete the authorize a user for the purpose of viewing the bill or paying a bill, if they have not yet completed the student consent to release information form through the student records office, we still would not be able to release specific information to anybody contacting us other than the student. So that's just an important reminder that those are two separate processes. Okay, so our next question here, what is a refund? Will I get a refund? When will I get the refund? Bill, if you want to take that one for us.
Well, the refund means that the charges on your account are less than the credits that have been applied to your account, be it from financial aid, from a loan, even from payments that you have made. So at any point where the balance of your charges less your credits ends up being a credit balance, we will send you a refund. And the thing that I think I want to encourage you the most is, if you anticipate you're going to be in that situation because you're going to borrow enough money for books and transportation or something like that, highly recommend that you sign up for direct deposit for that refund. And once you do, that will be your direct deposit profile for your career until you change it. It's the best way to get a refund if a refund is expected. But we pretty much will do it automatically when that situation arises. We also recommend you take a look at on our website at authorizing us to hang on to that. If you don't think you need that disbursement, we can hang on to it for future charges.
And just a quick note on that direct deposit piece, that is another process that you can complete right through Main Street. And that website that Bill had mentioned earlier, the Bursar's office website, right in that how-to section, they have step-by-step instructions on how to complete that direct deposit.
That's a good point. Yeah, they actually have a lot of how-tos on a lot of different topics. So certainly take a look at their website, because there's a lot of information on how to accomplish certain tasks related to that.
Absolutely.
All right, we have a question here related to work study. Amy, this is one that I think you and I get asked quite a lot. What is work study?
Work study is a federal-based fund, and it is need-based as well. So depending on the awarding parameters of the institution, depends on if students are eligible for federal work study or not. So that's what federal work study is. Not all students get it. And if you question why you didn't, definitely give us a call and we can answer that question for you.
And I know, Amy, one of the ways that we usually use to describe that is it's basically an amount of money that a student is able to earn, while they're attending school here through part-time employment wages.
Yeah, and it's a biweekly paycheck.
Exactly. Yep. Great. Okay, so it looks like we have a comment here from Facebook. When will we know about financial aid awards for the fall? Connie, you want to take that one for us?
Okay, sure. So financial aid awards for the fall, we have been processing and sending them out all along since end of December, actually. So if you haven't received an award letter and you have filled out a FAFSA form and you've sent it to us, it would be really important for you to contact our office, because maybe we're asking for additional information that maybe you haven't sent in yet that could keep you from getting a financial aid award, or something else. But at this point, you would have received an award from us had you done everything that you needed to do. So my advice would be to contact our office.
Yeah, also I would highly recommend that students check out your Main Street account. You can check your FAFSA status right from your student center on your Main Street account. Make sure we've received your FAFSA. Also check that to-do list, because there could be something on there that we need that could be holding up that financial aid award. And like Connie said, absolutely contact us and talk with one of our financial aid advisors.
Excellent. We have another question here from Facebook. If a first-year student qualifies for work study, what is the process for getting employed? Amy?
Yeah, Simon. So first-year students who qualify for work study, in July, there's going to be an email sent to your maine.edu account from the Career Center. We share a website called Career Link with them, where we do post jobs that we know about that are hiring on campus that require federal work study. Now, given that not all employers do advertise on Career Link, my office, the Office of Student Employment, can definitely assist you with helping you find a job, whether it's work study or non-work study. We have both types of jobs on campus.
Excellent. And there's actually sort of a follow-up here to your work study, the work study questions you've tackled so far. Will the earnings go directly to the bill?
No, federal work study earnings or a non-work study employment job, you get a biweekly paycheck, and that is released directly to you. The Bursar's office does not wait for you to earn those funds in order to pay a remaining balance per se. So those are biweekly paychecks, depending on how many hours worked. Typically, your student doesn't make a lot of money biweekly to help assist with a bill. So that money, we like to refer it to as essential, hygiene, things that the student may need other than, funds to pay the bill.
And I just want to sort of connect that back to our episode from last week with our estimating expenses. That is the reason why we don't include that work study amount when we are looking at a remaining balance after your aid is applied, because that work study is not going towards those direct billable expenses. Like Amy said, they're really going towards those indirect expenses that a student might have.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. All right, Amy, I think we've got another one here for you. If federal work study is not on my award, can I still get a job?
Yeah, like I mentioned previously, not all students get federal work study, and there are non-work study positions available on campus. And actually, we have quite a few. A lot of the dining facilities, and I do know the rec center, they hire students regardless whether they have work study or not, where some areas on campus require the work study. So there are non-work study positions on campus. That we can help you, assist you getting. Those are also posted on CareerLink once you get your sign on. You can definitely search either work study or non-work study for those positions. But if you're having a hard time or struggling on trying to find out where to go, or definitely the Office of Student Employment, we're there to assist you. We can show you, guide you. We can even make phone calls on your behalf. So definitely reach out to us if it's not working out for you on CareerLink.
Perfect. Thank you for that. And it looks like we have a question we're going to send Derek's way. Derek, the people want to know what kind of summer orientation is going to be available to students?
Absolutely. So we have a site right now that you can check out right now at go.umaine.edu/orientation. You'll find a link there to a lot of great information, whether that's academic, student life, a lot of great videos. But on June 25th, 26th, we're going to have some tremendous live sessions coming up that you can check in. And those will also be available on demand as well to check those out as well as far as what I know. So definitely check that website out, June 25th, June 26th. But if you want to go there right now, there's lots of great information of all types.
Great. And I do just want to plug our financial aid website. If you go to umaine.edu/28, then you click on accepted students, we kind of have an orientation landing page where we link to that go.umaine page that Derek just mentioned. As well, we have all of our financial aid orientation resources that we are creating this summer for students, including a link to our Financial Aid Fridays, link to schedule an orientation Zoom advising session, and our official Money Matters presentation. So definitely check that out. All right. Next question here. Can I get a higher merit scholarship if I had new test scores come in, or if I got a higher GPA? Derek, I think we'll toss that to you first.
Yes, could you repeat the whole question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I get a higher merit scholarship if I had new test scores come in, or if I got a higher GPA?
Absolutely, yes. So right now is the policy that we're having for this unusual year with the pandemic. We are allowing students to get us new information as long as they're getting it to us before the courses start. Classes have started, it's too late, but courses have not started yet. You can get us new test scores, new GPAs, and we can definitely reevaluate you for an additional merit scholarship. To go with that, if you feel that maybe you're in a situation where you didn't get to retake the SAT or ACT, I know a lot of students are in that boat. But you've been working hard. Send us an appeal. We will look at merit appeals. It does not guarantee that you'll receive any additional merit aid, but we do read every single appeal. That's read by our senior staff in the Office of Admissions. So again, I'll give you that email address, UMaine Admissions. Make sure you don't leave off the S on the end. UMaine Admissions at maine.edu. Be sure to make your case, and also leave identifying factor like a date of birth or something, so we make sure we can attribute that.
Excellent. Thank you for that. All right. Next question here. Why do I have a final high school transcript item on my Main Street to-do list? Connie, you want to start this one off?
Sure. There's a couple of different reasons, but certainly from a financial aid standpoint, the reason is if you apply for federal financial aid, the federal government requires us to obtain a final high school transcript to prove that you have actually graduated. So every student has to do that. And Derek, I mean, beyond that, I mean, that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It will stay on there. I know a lot of times people get confused because they're like, I don't have my final transcript yet. That's okay, we understand. But if you don't send it in, then there will be a hold on your account.
Right. And for us, it won't stop you from getting a financial aid award. What it will stop is we won't disperse any aid onto your bill until we have that in the fall. Like that, like Bill was saying, a week before classes start, that's when we actually start putting financial aid on a student's account. That won't happen until we have a final high school transcript.
Oh, right. Thank you so much for that answer. So we've got another question here. What if I haven't paid my enrollment deposit yet? Can I still do that? Derek, I'm going to pass that along to you.
Yeah, absolutely, certainly. Even though we are past that deadline, we will certainly. As far as merit is concerned, I'm sure Connie can speak to this more than I can. It's first come, first serve past that priority deadline. But as there are spaces still available in programs, the one exception for that is nursing. Right now, it's currently full. Unless you are a transfer student, that's a little different as a first year student. But other than that, you can certainly pay your $50 deposit. If you're having issues with that, please contact admissions. You made admissions at maine.edu. We can help work through that with you. I know some people have had some technical issues paying that online. Definitely make sure that your pop-ups are enabled, your cookies are enabled. That will definitely help you. But if you have any questions, just let us
know. Those cookies will get you every time.
They certainly cause some trouble.
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to change my major. This is the next question. From the original one that I was admitted into, will this change the scholarship that I was awarded? Derek, I believe they're talking about the merit scholarship. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I can't speak to specific scholarships that are, program specific. Obviously, if you're moving out of engineering, you're probably not going to be eligible for the engineering scholarship anymore. But for merit, that can change depending on if you're a New England student, not from the state of Maine. You're switching into one of our NEBI programs that may adjust your your merit scholarship. For a listing of those, we do have those right on our website, and they differ from state to state. So that's something to keep in mind as well. I will say sometimes it can seem misleading. You'll see that the NEBI, flagship match, for example, is not as high as like the flagship match award that you may have received before, but you're getting such a great tuition break. You're actually, saving additional money by having that NEBI award. I know sometimes there's a little bit of confusion on that. So yeah, certainly it can affect your merit award in terms of, if you're in an NEBI program or not an NEBI program.
And Derek, I think we on the admissions website, there's actually a resource on there that lists the specific majors that qualify for that New England regional program.
Yes, and if you NEBI, the acronym for that New England regional program, NEBHE. Yeah, you can Google that or search that on our website, and it'll actually take you to the fact sheet. It's a PDF.
Great.
Just to follow up there, and Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, but if a student, let's say an out-of-state student, was changing a major and it's from a non-NEBI to a non-NEBI major, that would not impact their existing merit.
Yeah, really, the only thing, the thing to keep in mind is, if you're switching from a NEBI to a non-NEBI or non-NEBI program to a NEBI program, those are some changes that can happen. But for most students, it's not going to change their merit.
Great. Thank you so much for that. All right, we've got another question from Facebook here. What is the process to accept federal loans, and what is the deadline to do so? Connie, I'm going to pass it along to you to answer.
To accept your federal loans, basically you can do that right on your Main Street portal. So hopefully you have a letter that tells you exactly what you're eligible for. And there's a process that you go through on the Main Street portal to accept or decline your awards. And you can accept any amount that you'd like. And there is no deadline to do that per se. The deadline would be before the end of the spring semester. So you would have to do it a couple of weeks before the end of the semester to allow for processing time. But right now, at this point, it won't show up on your bill as anticipated aid until you actually accept the loan. But once you accept it, it will show up as anticipated aid, and you can do that at any point. Once you do accept your loans, really important to understand that there's two things that you will need to do. The first thing is a master promissory note, or they call it a loan agreement now, as well as a direct loan entrance counseling session. And both of those are at studentloans.gov. And we have information on our site in regards to that as well. That's two of the things, students will go in and they'll accept their loans, but then they won't do those two pieces. And until you do those two things, you won't actually get the loan funds. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, Connie, quick question on, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that's another reason that we recommend students monitor their Main Street accounts, because those two items will pop up automatically on a student's to-do list. So as long as students are logging in and checking that, then you'll see them there as well.
You will.
Yeah, and Connie, I was just going to ask, so if we have an incoming transfer student who borrowed federal loans at their previous institution, will they have to complete a master promissory note and entrance counseling again?
They will. They will.
Okay.
Because it is based on the school you're attending.
Right.
So
Okay.
you will have to do a new one.
Great.
All right. Next question here. Why aren't Parent Plus loans on my award? Connie?
Okay. When we do our initial awards, we choose not to tell a student at that point what they're eligible for in Plus loans. I know there are some schools that do. We choose not to make that a part of the financial aid award. And the reason we do that is because parent loans are need-based loans and they're not guaranteed. So we don't want to tell anybody that they're eligible for a loan that they might not be eligible for. But you absolutely can borrow a Parent Plus loan. If you want to talk to somebody in our office, we can lead you down the path on how much you need to borrow, and then also tell you what the process is. And it is a very it's a pretty simple application process.
And I am going to, again, plug our next week's episode because we are focusing on additional financing options. So we will be taking a deeper dive into those additional loan options, including that Parent Plus loan, and really just taking a deep dive into the application process and what that actually entails. So make sure you tune in next week as well. All right. Looks like we have another question here. Why is my scholarship not on my account? Connie, you want to take that one for us?
Sure. So it depends. So I know Bill was talking a little bit about anticipated aid. It depends on the type of scholarship. So of course, any merit scholarship, any scholarship that you're getting through the university that we know about, that type of scholarship will show up as anticipated aid on your July bill. If you're getting a scholarship from outside of the university, that's something that you will have to tell us about. But we don't actually post the scholarships until 10 days before classes start. We're not able to put anything on a student's account as far as financial aid is concerned, and that includes scholarships, until right before the start of school. I don't know, Jessica, do you have anything else to add to that, or Simon?
Yeah, I was going to just add, and again, this may depend on the specific, what the person who asked the question meant by account. But if you're referring specifically to your award, let's say, for example, you were awarded a department scholarship. So the College of Engineering awarded you a scholarship as an incoming student, and you're not seeing that on your award yet. So in terms of what that process is, we actually get notifications from all the departments on campus. And over the summer, we post those scholarships to the Students Financial Aid Award. So what I would say at this point, don't panic. If you receive a letter from the college or your academic department, that your confirmation that you're receiving that scholarship. And then we will have received that notification as well. And it's just a process of getting it posted to your award.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Jessica. And it's the same thing with some of the merit aid. If you haven't applied for financial aid, it may just take us a little bit longer to put the merit aid on a financial aid award for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Actually, something to piggyback off of that as well. Some of the scholarships that are external that some students receive either through their high school or through local organizations. You may want to check the award letter that advised you that you've been awarded that scholarship. Some of them are spring only scholarships. so they may not appear until the spring semester. So just something to keep in mind there as well.
And make sure you are sending us copies of those scholarship letters of any outside scholarships that you're receiving, because we do want to know about that as well in case there is something on our end we need to be doing for those.
That's right. That's a good point. All right. Next question. How do I check my bill? How about it, Bill?
Well, hopefully you're all familiar or will be soon with your Main Street Student Center. That's basically the launching pad for just about everything. And there's a section on your Main Street Student Center that's financials. And within that section, the balance actually should show right there. But you can drill down. There's an account activity link where you can put in a date range and see all of the activity that you have on your account. And I highly recommend that you do that if you don't quite understand where the balance came from. There's also an item summary link where you can just summarize all of your charges and payments for a term that makes it a little easier to look at. You can also drill down by clicking View My Bill or Pay My Bill, and it takes you to our online system where your statements that you have received, periodic statements, can be retrieved from that location. So it's the Main Street Student Center is basically where everything starts.
Great. All right, Bill, I think we've got another question for you here. Yep. Can I make monthly payments to pay off my bill?
Yeah, so yes, we do have an online self-enrollment payment plan. We actually have set it up two different ways. We have two different versions of the payment plan, but essentially they allow you to make 5 payments over the course of the term. The payments would be August through December. The way you get to that is also through the Main Street Student Center. You click on View My Bill and you navigate to our TouchNet payment system. It's just a couple more clicks after that. And then there is a payment plan link on that page, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Those payment plans will be available to sign up for right as you get your bill. We send out the bills, those payment plans will be available for you to sign up. So it's 5 payments due the 15th of each month. The first payment is due at the time you sign up. So it would be 20% down, and then 4 more payments due the 15th of August, September, October, November. Actually, the payments are due September, October, November, December, and you can sign up for it anytime after you get your bill.
And Simon, do you?
One more thing, there is a small cost to sign up for it. It's $30 to sign up for it, but there is no finance charge. There will be no late fees unless you miss a payment. It's $25 late fee for missing a payment, but it's essentially $30 charge to finance it for the entire term.
And Simon, I was just going to ask, do you know what I'm going to plug now?
Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
I'm going to plug future episodes where we, again, will be talking about additional financing options in our next week's episode. And then we have devoted 2 whole episodes in July specifically to the bill where, again, we'll be able to give you some more in-depth information about those installment payment plans.
That's right. It's certainly a hot topic, and it's something that a lot of students and families want to know more about. So we wanted to make sure that there are episodes for you to watch. So certainly stay tuned for those and take a look on our website for information about any future episodes as well. The next question we have here, I applied for an additional loan. How do I make sure that the Bursar's office knows that there are funds coming in to pay my bill?
Yeah, so it may be an additional loan. It may be a 529 plan. It may be funds that that you're going to get from whatever the source. We we will be assessing a late fee if you're late making payments and you don't sign up for the payment plan. You can avoid that by telling us that you've got another source coming, and that's also the instructions for doing that are in the same place where we've already talked about on the Humane slash Bursar homepage at the bottom. How do I? And you'd look for enter anticipated resources. So there are 10 different types of resources that you can tell us are coming, and we use that information to when it's time to assess late fees, we'll use that and credit that towards your balance as far as calculating the late fee. So keep that in mind. If there's something that's coming, like this extra loan, if it's not on your first bill, if it's not in the anticipated financial aid section of your bill, it might be by then if you sign up for it early enough. But if it's not, anticipated resources is the place to put it.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Bill. So our next question here, if I'm not enrolled full-time, will this impact my financial aid disbursement? I think I'm going to have Simon and Connie to sort of tag team this one.
All right. Well, Connie, do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Go for it.
All right, perfect. So yes, this is actually very important for students and families to sort of think about, especially when you're planning what your coursework, what your intended enrollment might look like, and understand that it can in fact impact certain types of aid. So students, for example, who are at half-time enrollment for the fall, some of their aid items, such as their merit scholarship and some of the grants that a student may have, will get adjusted in that case, in that particular example, to half of their amount. So that's a process that we call proration. So the aid is actually prorated down to that associated level. Other types of aid, for example, federal Pell Grant for some of the folks who may have that as part of their award, is also adjusted based on a certain enrollment levels. And certainly if you're wondering about maybe you're planning on only taking 9 credits, you're planning on being 3/4 time, and you'd like to know what impact that might have on your specific award, you can certainly reach out to our office, and we'd be more than happy to take a look at what you might expect given your financial aid situation.
Yeah, I think, Simon, that sums it up pretty well. I mean, the most important thing is, for people to understand that if, you're only going to be 6 credits and full time is 12 credits, you're only going to be eligible. Your costs are going to go down quite a bit. But let's just say you only had loans. Well, potentially your loans wouldn't be adjusted because your loans wouldn't exceed the cost of attendance. So it really is very dependent on the type of aid that you have.
Yeah, and so I just want to echo that it's a very individual situation. So it's very situational based on each individual student. That's what I was trying to say, guys. Really, we encourage you to contact us if you have questions, if you're looking for that estimate, because again, it's better to be safe than sorry. Ask those questions and make those plans for your enrollment before the semester starts.
Right. And Jessica, sometimes I know folks will scurry to get, registered for another credit or 3 credits or whatever it might be. And in the long run, the cost for the credits compared to what we might be reducing aid by, it's a wash. So it may not make a difference. So absolutely talk with us about that.
All right, perfect. The next question we have, what kind of jobs are available on campus? Amy?
You're on mute.
Oh, you're muted, Amy. Surprise.
Sorry, but great question. So it depends on where you work, but examples of positions on campus would be anything from cashiering to catering to food prep. Also the rec center, they need lifeguards. They have students that conduct classes, front desk. There's also a lot of administrative offices that hire for administrative clerical duties. There's also the bookstore where you may be stocking shelves or you may be a cashier. Obviously, athletics, working all the sporting events, whether that's behind the scenes in the food areas or if it's the ticket office. So there is a variety. Oh, also a famous one is like at the Witter Farm, anybody that's going to be going on to vet school or anything like that. So there's basically any job that you can think of on campus. We're our own little small town, so.
Yeah, and Amy, I was gonna mention too, a lot of the academic areas hire students, a lot of the labs and the
Research.
faculty members, research.
Yes.
So, and I know you were talking earlier about career link and stuff. And also I would suggest that students, when they're talking to faculty members or administrative people in their colleges, to ask about jobs that might be available.
Yeah, good point, Connie. I mean, definitely like engineering students, they definitely want to hire their own engineering students, for an example. So definitely be talking to the faculty, dean's office, find out what may be available within your major. Obviously, it's a good resume builder. So yeah, no, good point, Connie.
Did we mention that at Witter Farm, where you can potentially get a part-time job, you can also work with cows? Okay, so if you've got a liking for cows, or I think they have sheep there too.
Sure do.
I mean, it's so great hands-on experience.
Oh, Jessica, I've had students come in with videos that they helped deliver a baby. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
it's amazing. Yeah.
Amy, I've got another question for you.
Sure.
Is there anything a student will need in order to start working when they get to campus in the fall?
Absolutely. So if you've never worked on campus and received a paycheck from the University of Maine, you will need to do tax paperwork. And what that consists of is an I-9. So you will need to bring on campus with you original documentation in regards to, it can't be a photocopy, it can't be a picture on your phone, but for identification, you can have your driver's license along with an original birth certificate. Those can be found on the IRS website on what we can accept. A very popular one, and this is the one I recommend you bring with you, would be your passport. As long as it's not expired, that passport will serve for both identifications that we need to complete the I-9. If you get a job on campus and you cannot complete the I-9 paperwork, you only have 3 days and that paperwork needs to be done, or you cannot start that job or continue that job until that's done. Basically, that's all you would need to bring with you is that I-9. It's a federal document. We have to have it in order to process and get you set up in payroll and all that. So that's definitely my advice would be, if you don't have a passport and you want to know what we can accept, definitely go to the IRS website and look for that certification of what it can be accepted. There are 3 columns. Column A and B is column A is the passport, but column B and C is what we need something from if you do not have a passport. So good question.
That's great, Amy. Thanks so much for describing that resource from the IRS. And I'm gonna plug. Yeah, I'm really good at doing this plug-in here.
Sure.
I'm gonna plug the Student Employment Office that if you are looking at that resource that Amy described and you're not quite sure, you've got a question, does this fit into this requirement? Will this be okay? And you just want to make sure that you're all set before you head to campus. Give the Student Employment Office a call, send them an email. They can absolutely verify that information for you.
Absolutely, Jessica, definitely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we have a question from Facebook here. I'm going to sort of paraphrase it. So if students or families have experienced job losses or changes in income that is not reflected in the FAFSA, which is of course prior year, 2018's income information, what sort of options are there for folks in that situation in terms of financial aid? Connie, would you like to tackle this one?
Sure. I mean, unfortunately, this is definitely something that we have encountered and are dealing with right at the moment. For families who have found themselves in this situation, what they do need to do is they need to contact us. And what we can do is we call it professional judgment. We'll ask you for some information and some documentation, but we have the ability to basically look at expected income based on your new circumstances compared to what they were for 2018. So we can often make changes. I can't promise that it's going to produce, a bunch more financial aid, but it definitely can help for sure. So, and because those are things that we have to do on a case by case basis, it's really important for us to have a conversation about them. I don't know if anybody else have anything to add. I mean, I think that's pretty much the gist of it.
No, I think the emphasis is contact us, talk with one of our financial aid advisors, because again, it's important for us to really understand the situation, dates, amounts, things like that, what's actually happening, so we can determine whether there is any flexibility with the changes we can make to the FAFSA. So that conversation with a financial aid advisor is so important in that process.
It is. And don't be afraid to contact our office. This is the work we do, and we want to hear from you. So don't be embarrassed or afraid to do that.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Connie. Amy, I've got a question for you here. Why wasn't I awarded federal work study? I checked yes on the FAFSA to the work study question.
Yes, good question. Federal work study is a need-based fund, so you would have to have need. Not all students who have need are awarded work study, and that depends on the university's awarding parameters, depending on what else that you get for financial aid, what your family contribution may be, how much need that you have. So it depends, and definitely you can contact the financial aid office or even student employment, and we can answer the question why you didn't get it. It's potentially possible that you didn't initially get it, but could get it later on. So that's probably a conversation, you could have with my office or financial aid.
Yeah, that's a good point, Amy. I mean, the reality with some of the funds that we get, especially some of the federal funds, there's a limited amount that we can give out. So we do give out an initial amount across the board, and then, we look at payrolls throughout the year. And if our payrolls are down, we may have additional work study that we can give students.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Great. And we just have a follow-up question. And this is actually going to be our last question for the evening before we get some final thoughts from each of our panel members. Amy, this one's for you. Last question of the evening. How many hours can I work in an on-campus job?
Well, good question. We allow students to work up to 30 hours during the academic year. Breaks that are more than 5 consecutive days, they can work 40. So that does happen. We don't recommend students work the 30. We're in hopes that students can get, between 10, 12, 15 hours a week, because it does teach them some time management skills. We definitely do not want them working over 30 because they're there for academics, not necessarily for the income. So if they weren't a student, they wouldn't have the job. So we really need them to concentrate on their academics. And that's why there's a limit to 30 max during the academic year.
Yeah, and I would say our mentality on campus for our student employment program across campus is really student employees are students first. Exactly. So making sure that students are taking care of that academic piece, and then also gaining that valuable experience of being
Exactly, Jessica.
Yeah. All right. Well, Simon, I think we've gotten to the end of our question and answer segment here. Before we do our final wrap up here, I do want to hand it over to our panel members for any final thoughts. Important information, advice for some incoming students. So, Derek, I think we'll go ahead and start with you.
Sure, absolutely. So a common question that we get at the admissions office, and this is something we've talked a lot about, is the Main Street Student Portal. A lot of students, for whatever reason, are unable to access it. It's super important, whether it's looking at your financials, whether it's looking at your to-do list. If you're having an issue with it, give us a call, 207-581-1561. If it's an issue to do with the access code that we gave you upon receiving your application. We can try to look that up for you. Or we may refer you to our IT department. They do live chat with their staff as they work remotely as well, Monday through Friday, and they can help you with that.
Great, thank you. Bill, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure people know that sometime around mid-July, you'll be getting your first bill in the mail, and I wanted to make sure that you understand that that's the only one for this term that's actually going to come in the mail. Our billing is electronic after that, but I encourage you to review that bill thoroughly, review all of the information that's printed on it. There's information on the back in addition to the front, and those are what we feel are some of the most important things that you need to know. But any other questions, please contact us at Bursar at maine.edu, and we'd be happy to help you.
Great. Amy?
Yes, hi, again. So I just want to make a mention to parents and to students that having an on-campus job, regardless whether it's work study or non-work study, is definitely a benefit for the student to have. Only the reason why I say that is the staff on campus, the employers that hire our students, are very flexible with your schedule. As you know, your fall and spring schedules will be different. Your availability will be different. Finals, every finals week is always different. You may go home for breaks. So they're very flexible and understanding that your academics come first. So if you had an upcoming advising meeting you didn't know about and it's unexpected, but you're scheduled to work, they're very flexible with all of that. So if you get a job off campus, which there are jobs off campus, say like at the mall, local mall, they may not be as flexible as a student. Like if you wanted to go home for Christmas break, they may say, well, then you don't have a job when you come back. So keep in mind that working on campus definitely has its benefits in a lot of different ways.
Great. And Connie, well, any final thoughts from you?
Well, I would just say I've been at this for a very long time, and I've talked with a lot of families, and I think one of the most important things for anybody who's watching tonight to understand is that this is a really important piece of getting your education. You have to pay for it. And I think, being able to talk through the process with our office, with the Bursar's office, getting help from the admissions office is really, really important so that when you come in the fall, you have a plan. You know how you're paying for your bill. Mm-hmm. I've had so many situations where families have showed up on campus or whatever it might be, and they don't have a plan. And it's much, much more difficult. So just think about that. And like I said, we're all here to help you. I have an amazing team of people. I know Bill has an amazing team of people. Admissions officers, we're all in this to help the students that want to come here. So thanks for joining us.
So Simon, I think we have made it to the end of our third official Financial Aid Fridays episode.
I do believe we have.
Fantastic. Well, I do just want to give a huge shout out to the panel members. Thank you so much for joining us today, taking the time to answer some of these important questions. Don't forget to check out our website, umaine.edu/StuAid. Click on that accepted students button, and you will get to some really awesome resources, including all of our recorded Financial Aid Friday webisodes. You can schedule a new student orientation advising, and you can also watch our official Money Matters presentation. So with that, I think we will say good night, and we will see you next Friday.